guys and dolls and gender outlaws and witches and wizards. Thank you so much for joining me at this really transitory and very intimate time on my journey. I just want to let you know now that this video is going to be a little bit rambly. I kind of know where I'm going, but I kind of don't know where I'm going at the same time. And I know that so many of you have followed me for so long on my YouTube journey and on my journey with my website and everything else on social media. I know that lots of you are just basically prepared to trust me to go on a ramble and trust me to eventually get to the point, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be rambling and eventually getting to some sort of point, and I want to thank you for giving me that opportunity and lending me your ear. Even though I might not always be the biggest fan of brevity, I might not always get to the point simply and easily, but as Oscar Wilde said, the truth is rarely pure and never simple. And I remember painting that on my bedroom wall when I was a surly, confused teenager, falling in love for the first time. And it's always been a quote that served me well, as many Oscar Wilde quotes have, to be honest with you. He's kind of, to me, a little bit of a symbol of the divine masculine in many ways. So the truth is rarely pure and never simple, and this video isn't going to be pure or simple either. But I really thank you and I honour you for being with me on this journey, and I appreciate it so much. And so I'm just going to start by saying that this video is going to be kind of a return to former times in a way, in the sense that there isn't going to be as much of a point. And one of the main reasons that I use jump cuts is to get to the point, to avoid repeating myself, to get to the point succinctly. Obviously I still do, you know, reasonably for both videos where things do go on a tad, and I'm never going to stop doing that because that's who I am. That's just part of who I am. I'm never going to be a maker of 5-minute videos, 5 minute just super instructional, I would argue impersonal videos. I think it's kind of difficult to make an instructional video about a psycho-spiritual topic which is also really intimate and also really gives you a sense of who the person making the video is. I don't think you can do that in 5 minutes, so I'm never going to be one of those people that produces a 5-minute video. It's just not who I am, it's not who I'll ever be. But I definitely think there are videos that are geared more towards one specific topic. I'm trying to explain something and I'm aware of that, and I know that you're aware of that. So the jump cuts definitely, they definitely have a function. They're definitely useful for making sure that I don't repeat myself. They're definitely useful for making sure that I get everything in that I want to get in. And the fact that I know that I can use jump cuts in a video is really useful to me, because it helps me to see that I can actually stop and think about what I want to say. Okay, you might think it's kind of ironic that you just saw a jump cut just at this moment in the video, but it's because a dog outside started freaking out. And this is the kind of thing, this is what I mean, like jump cuts are really useful. They're useful, they enable somebody to stop and wait for a loud motorbike to pass, or, you know, a massive like Third World War of seagulls in the sky making a hideous amount of noise. If you've got that happening, you can stop and you can just jump cut it. So I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression about jump cuts. They're not necessarily to make me seem as though I don't make any mistakes. I don't really mind making some mistakes. It's more a case of allowing things to go smoothly, allowing myself to explain what I want to explain, and just basically allowing myself to clarify a point without too much shit getting in the way. So I'm definitely not saying that I'm not going to edit my shit anymore, but this is going to be a little bit less edited in the jump cut sense. However, I am going to be interspersing some images of one of the latest walks that I went on, because I've been dying to take you guys on some fucking walks with me lately, and it has been nigh on impossible. Okay, the winds are still pretty high around here. Even on a very sunny day, it's been windy. There have been a few days when there has been a lot of sun and not any wind at all, but a lot of the time when I go on my walks in the morning, there is wind. You know, there's just noise that is not going to be pleasant to listen to on camera. But I have been going on walks, and I've really been wanting to show you guys what I've been exploring, some of the terrain round about me at the moment that I've been really enjoying getting into. So I'm going to be taking you on a journey. So this is going to be kind of an audio visual experience for you where I intersplice my talking with one of the latest walks that I went on, and it was amazing and it was just so beautiful, and I made sure that I filmed it for you guys, so I'm hoping that you will enjoy that as well. Last year the element of water started talking to me, and it came on very slowly. It came on actually in the form of dreams. Water began to visit me in my dreams. I started to have a lot of dreams about tsunamis and big floods. I started to have dreams that the rooms that I lived in and the house that I lived in were filling up with water. I dreamed that so much water came into my living room at one point that a great white shark swam past me, and I was just still with fear, and it was amazing. And I had many of these dreams. I dreamed about floods, I dreamed about tsunamis, granted, I dreamed about storms, but I also dreamed about waterfalls, I dreamed about rivers, I dreamed about ancient bodies of water from the mythologies that I've read over my lifetime. And water just became more and more of a thing. And water has always been something that I have thought about in dreams, like it's come to me in dreams, it's attended my dreams, if you will, but never with such frequency as happened, I would say, last spring entering into last summer. The water dreams came thick and fast, and after a while of having these dreams about tsunamis and floods and bodies of water of every kind, and after also feeling more moved to spend a lot of time around bodies of water, I began to realise that there was a huge archetypal message underpinning this whole thing. I began to realise that I was indeed the student of the transpersonal once again, and that I needed to break this code. I needed to really fix this piece of the jigsaw into the overall picture of what was going on in my life. And it was a very exciting moment for me when I realised that the element of water was talking to me in such an obvious way. I'm going to read you a little piece from a blog post that I wrote on Monday the 30th of May over on kellyannemaddox.com, and the blog post was entitled Walking with the Queen of Cups, and I'll link it for you down below if you want to read it in its entirety. But the specific part that I want to read for you says, "It's time to break open more and more. The element of water has been calling to me for a long time now. Water came to me over and over again last year in my dreams. Tsunamis, drownings, boats and ships in battle on the giant waves, creatures rising up from the depths of the black ocean, cities underwater. Water destroyed my fragile peace last year when it literally collapsed my roof and destroyed some of my most treasured possessions. This led me to move to an apartment from which I can literally see the sea. It was an absolute surrender. I was saying, okay, I'm fucking listening. Tell me what I need to know." The element of water finally replied, "Give of yourself. Overflow." Now I know that the Queen of Cups has been walking with me for a long time, longer than I first thought. Every archetype has its time to dance with you, even if you felt like strangers to each other before. As you're watching this, you may or may not know that I created an e-zine about the Four Queens called Awakening the Four Queens, where I actually write about my personal journey with each of the Four Queens in Tarot and how I feel about them as archetypes and the different energies and themes that I feel that they represent. And if you haven't read that yet, you can get it for instant free download. It doesn't cost you a penny, and it's illustrated with some of my own original collage work, so you might want to go down below and download it and give it a read. And I basically, in that e-zine, approach each of the Four Queens and just write about, quite frankly, I would say, about how each of them has factored into my life and what each of them means to me. And so you will know, if you've already read that e-guide or if you go on to read it from this point, that me and the Queen of Cups were not always intimately connected. We definitely had our issues. I definitely had certain feelings about her that were not wholly positive. I didn't feel like she was fully available to me as an archetypal energy, even though I recognised that she did represent one of the core archetypal mother energies, that she was definitely representative of things like the counsellor, the healer, the mentor, the guide, all of those things that my business and my creative life and my professional life have been set up to respond to and support. Even in the face of all of that, I realised that there was something missing for me about the Queen of Cups. And last spring, when I began to have these dreams, these really mesmerizing, really epic dreams about the ocean, about the sea, about water, I realized then after a while that that was the Queen of Cups trying to get in. And the moment that I realized it was right at the end of the summer, when my ceiling collapsed in on my special sanctuary, my beautiful room where I did my tarot readings and where I did my one-on-one sessions with clients and did my readings with clients. It was a really difficult experience to have the water damage that I experienced, to come home from my trip to Berlin with my boyfriend to realise that my ceiling had fallen in over half of the room where I did my tarot readings, where I did my videos, and a lot of my tarot decks kind of died a death in that terrible experience that has now become known as Floodgate 2015. A very appropriately dramatic, appropriately histrionic name for something that really did suck big time. It sucked balls. But I felt like the water coming through the ceiling was a way of rapping on the door of my psyche. And this is how spiritual people think. This is how psycho-spiritual people think. This is how we allow ourselves to take heed of the lessons that are coming to us in some kind of transpersonal or archetypal way, is that when something befalls us that is really unexpected, that seems very violent, that feels very unfortunate and unfair, we immediately look at that experience and say, what is the lesson? What is here to be gleaned? What is the gold? What is the gold that is being offered? And for me, I really looked at that experience and I thought, what the fuck is the element of water trying to say to me? What is going on here? Like, what is happening? It's like water is forcing its way in. It's shoving itself into my consciousness. It's forcing its way into my line of sight. What does it want from me? And that was a very poignant moment for me. The moment where I took my ill fortune and I turned it on its head and I said, what do you want to show me? And within an instant, I knew that we needed to go to the water. We needed to go to the water's edge. We had to go to the sea. And within a very short space of time after that, we had decided upon a place and we had started our apartment search, and we just knew that it had to be, that I had to be near the sound of the sea, the sound of the tides going in and out. I knew that there was something that had to be learned. I knew that the very archetypal energy, the essence, the primal energy of the sea, of water, of its themes and its lessons was calling to me. And I knew that I had to surrender myself completely. And in moving from where I was in the country, which was pretty much give or take the furthest distance from the sea of anywhere in the UK, down to the actual seafront where I can actually see the sea from my window, I definitely made a commitment. I made a commitment to my spiritual life. I decided not just to talk about psycho-spirituality, not just to talk about a Jungian and transpersonal lens that I place over my way of seeing the world. I decided not just to talk about it, but actually to commit myself to it. Actually to say, you know what, if the water has something to say, if I need to listen to my inner Queen of Cups, if the essence and the energy of the water has something to give to me, I'm going to go there and I'm going to get that lesson. I'm going to open myself up. I'm going to be a receptacle to the wisdom that is forthcoming from the cosmos. To say that and to actually take action on that was very profound for me. And I'm so glad that I did it, because it's led me to a great opening. I feel that eventually when the water answered my call, when I said to the water, I'm ready, I'm open, I'm willing, I'm hearing you. What do you want me to know? Please tell me, what do you want me to know? What do I need to see? I'm open to it. I feel that the element of water replied, and the element of water said, break open, overflow. You have more than enough. You have so much more to give, and you're holding on to it. You're being so precious with it. You're being very, very careful. You're towing the line. You're walking on the tightrope. That you've got so much more you can give. You've got so much more that you can shower all over everyone. And it's okay. You're not going to break. You're not going to break if you're a little more vulnerable. You can still hold your boundaries. You can still hold firm. But you've got to give of yourself in this life. You've got to overflow. And do it now. And do it well. And do it because it means something to you. Do it because you know it's what you've got to do. And I feel like that was my inner Queen of Cups talking to me. I feel like now I've connected to the Queen of Cups in a far more vibrant and a far more vital way, in a serious way, in a sturdy way. I feel like I've connected to her in a way that I never could have before. And she really had to fuck with my shit to get me to let her in. She had to really mess with my stuff. She had to destroy my possessions. She had to come through my fucking ceiling for me to really listen, for me to get with the program, and for me to say, you know what, I'm ready. I'm here. I'm paying attention. What do you want? What do you want from me? And sometimes to learn our psycho-spiritual lessons, it has to go like that. We have to be prepared to sacrifice. We have to be prepared to move. We have to be prepared to give up what we're being so precious about in order to gain that deeper wisdom and that greater boon. Since I've lived down on the shoreline, there have been a lot of new lessons that have come into my line of sight. I have learned a lot about letting go. I have learned a lot about loss. And I have learned a lot about how sometimes you need to empty your hands. You need to shed what you thought you had in order to be able to grasp hold of the immediacy of the now and of the beauty of what's coming. And I thought in many ways that I already knew that, but I feel like the sea, the shoreline, the tides turning, the sound of those waves lapping has really given me so much more in terms of those lessons. It's taken me so much deeper than I ever thought I could have gone before, and it's been amazing. Being close to the sea has definitely given me a bit of a blue calcite vibe, you know what I mean? If anybody's ever worked with blue calcite, then you will understand what I mean, no doubt. That sense of perspective, that sense of a return to gentle detachment and gentle objectivity, to realise that whatever I'm going through, however painful, however shocking, however perturbed I am by it, this is just a turning of the tide. What comes in and affects me will move out and run from me. And I'll still be who I am. I'll be stronger in my core. I will have connected to the axis mundi that runs through me and that connects all things together and connects me to myself. Being a student of the shoreline, if you like, a pupil of the turning of the tides, has been incredible for me. It's been an incredible force in my life, and I'm so glad that I had to go through a period of fear and anxiety in my dream life and a period of destruction and distraction in my material life in order to get here, in order to realise that I need to be down here by the shoreline, really listening and really connecting the turning of the tides with the beating of my heart. And I really feel that I've connected to the true nature of the Queen of Cups, because I feel like there is so much more that I can give and that I'm not diminished by giving. I can be a very cagey human. I can be very defensive. I certainly have strong boundaries and I make absolutely no apology for that. But I also, in a lot of ways, I'm quite precious. I'm quite cagey. I'm quite careful. And is that all just paranoia? No, definitely not. Some people do try and overstep my boundaries, and some people have tried to take advantage, and some people do assume that they know a lot more about me than they really know, and that can have very destructive effect on me and on them as well, because they don't know more than they think they know. And so that can be difficult. But I do feel like in a lot of ways I'm cagey and precious when I needn't be. I can overflow, I can break open, I can give of myself in a way that people tell me consistently inspires them and comforts them. And if I know that talking about my experiences and giving of myself can inspire and comfort people and can teach people things, why wouldn't I do that? Why would I be so cagey and so precious as to neglect people of the very thing that I can give them? And everybody in this life has something that they can give. Everybody has some beauty. Everybody has the seed of that beauty within them. It's just whether or not they choose to connect with it or not. And I feel like I have been given the very wondrous opportunity of realising that when I talk about my experiences and when I talk about the way that I see the world, I have managed to comfort some people and show some people some pathways towards their greater selves. And it's been amazing to get that feedback from you guys, and it's been humbling and it's been a privilege. And from now on, I don't want to be precious about that stuff that I have been told by so many people has been helpful to them. I want to give of that stuff freely, and I want to understand that it doesn't diminish my candlelight if I light a few more people's candles along the way. You know, it doesn't diminish what I've got to give if I give some of that stuff away, and if I live in the service of something greater than myself. There can definitely be a toxic side, a dysfunctional side, an unconscious side to the Queen of Cups, where she's not completely with herself, where she's not an ally to herself, and she gives and gives without considering her own condition, and she gives until her own tank is empty, until she's running on fumes, until she has nothing for herself. And I learned a long time ago, when I answered the call to be in service to others as a spiritual counsellor, that I can't go on like that, that is not healthy, and it's not helpful to me, and it's not helpful to my clients and to my audience and to the people that I want to serve. So I know very much that I can give and still be in overflow myself. But like I said, I've been very cagey about certain parts of my own experience, certain things that I've been through. I've definitely tried to create a barrier in some ways between me and the people that I have been called to serve. And I want to strip some of that back, and I want to be a little bit more raw and a little bit more open about what I'm going through and the things that I'm realizing in the moment as well. And I'm just going to enjoy playing with the channel and seeing what it can be and understanding the greatness of what it already is. I'm humbled by the reception that I've gotten. I'm humbled by some of the things people have told me. I feel humbled by the way that some people have broken themselves open and given me slices of their personal stories. I'm humbled by the trust that I have been given. I'm humbled by the way that people have responded to some of the honesty that I've put forth in my channel, and some of the things that I've been honest about that I never have been honest about elsewhere. As I have been learning the lessons of the sea, and as I have been experiencing my own journey, as I've been waking up in the mornings and studying tarot and walking down to the seafront and listening to the lapping of the back and forth of the waves, and understanding how the turning of the tide is representative of something so much greater than I could ever put into any known language, I have realised that I can break open and still be safe. I have recognised that this channel has given me something that is really unique. I've realised that it is a mode of expression, just like my writing and just like my collage and just like everything else. But there is something particular about this mode of expression. There's something holy about what I've been given in return from you guys. As an audience, you've continued consistently to put me in awe of you. And you've helped me to reach out across the void, across this strange cyber sea. And we have drunk of the wisdom of these crazy waves together, and I want to continue doing that. And I just want to thank you for all of the love and all of the support. I'm not saying that every single step that I've taken in the YouTube journey has been positive. I'm not saying that everybody has had my back. I'm not saying that everybody has been honest. I'm not saying that everybody has been kind. I'm not saying there haven't been times when I felt like just dropping the baton and walking away from this. But I'm definitely saying that it's been a lot more positive than negative. I'm saying that a lot of you guys, whether you've known it or not, whether you've understood it or not, have been my teachers in one way or another. And it has been an amazing journey, and I know it will continue to be an amazing journey. And I want to thank you just for being a part of my life in whatever way you've been a part of my life. If you've never left me a comment before, but you've just been watching me, then I appreciate you, and I feel your energy, and I send it right back to you. And this has been so magnetizing for me. It's been such a gravitational pull for me to continue to come back to the camera and to invest in my audience and to invest in the channel, not only for the creative foundation that it's given me, but also for the fact that I know that it's doing some people some good, and that I've received so many amazing pieces of feedback from people who have told me that my words and my videos have shone a light on their personal journey, and they in turn have shone a light on my personal journey through contacting me and having that amazing sacred communion with me in whatever form they have done. And so I just want to thank you, and I want to say that I'm humble in the face of this, that I don't take it for granted, that I think it's amazing, and I spend every day basking somehow to some degree in the glow of what's been given to me through this YouTube experience. And I just want to say I'm humbled. I'm humbled, I'm grateful, and I appreciate your grace, and I bask in it, and it's beautiful. And I meet you where you are right now, and Sat Nam, blessed be.